Sports Video Group's Jason Dackman. We are live at the SMPTE Show in Hollywood, California. I'm here with the first president of the second century of SMPTE, Matthew Goldman. Matthew, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.
Appreciate it. We will talk a little bit about what you're hoping to accomplish in your term as president of SMPTE, but let's talk a little bit about this year's show, the 2016 show. What are some of the themes you guys are seeing? What is SMPTE maybe trying to hope address with some of these fascinating papers that are being presented here?
Yeah, we have a few major themes that we've selected for this year. Hopefully they're not uncommon in what people would think would be happening, but a couple of areas that are very important to SMPTE, particularly as we enter into the next century. And one of those is really the move for broadcasters' migration to IT infrastructure and all the workflows that we involve around that. We're really going to a time of software-defined media processing and moving from really what the industry has up to now with the workflows have been industry-specific interfaces, and now we're moving to more of areas that can be virtualized, such as put into the cloud and built off of like commodity off-the-shelf hardware in order to move the system forward. And really the reason to do that is to respond to customers' needs in a more agile or DevOps basis and really and take advantage of the economies of scale of the IT infrastructure.
HDR making a huge deal at this show this year. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are talking about. What are the latest developments in terms of HDR? Right,
as you know, high dynamic range is probably the hottest new topic in television image technology today. Some people consider it to be the biggest increase in television viewing experience since color was added to black and white. Sure. I mean, it really is that impressive on that. In the case of high dynamic range, which is really about contrast of the image, not just about brighter displays, what the technical papers are covering this week are really getting into more of the details behind the different systems that are out there and how they can provide very much more of a realistic technique for that, explain the details behind the two new transfer functions we have, which is perceptual quantizer and hybrid log gamma, and how they place it in an end-to-end workflow. There's a lot of challenges that need to be addressed regarding, you know, you've heard of the COM Act, right? Well, maybe we have the DIM Act now, basically, which is what is going to happen when you have interstitials placed within material and, you know, all of a sudden you have video loudness issues, you know, video loudness in quotes, obviously, trying to be funny here. But it's just those are the types of real-world issues that are being addressed in descriptions of this. And we're also have some few papers talking about alternative video compression technologies. I mean, everybody knows about high-efficiency video coding, but we have a paper on VP9. We have papers talking about mezzanine compression, which would fit into these new software-defined workflows.
Sure, and plenty more going on at this year's show, including virtual reality and lots more. But let's talk a little bit about what you're trying to accomplish in your term as president of SMPTE. As executive vice president, you already started some things through the pipeline. You know, what are you looking to achieve in the next term?
Right, as I hope people have noticed, SMPTE is obviously growing along with our industry. Our industry is changing very rapidly. There's only been a few times in the last 100 years of our history where there's been rapid change in technology. And anytime you have new technology, there's a disruption in existing workflows, et cetera. And we're in one of those times right now. When we went from analog to digital, for instance, that was one thing. Or in the case of SMPTE's history, when the T was added for television versus motion pictures. Right. And what we're seeing right now is really, as we mentioned, for this switch and this change to go from old fixed iron, so to speak, to software-defined processes and things like that. And SMPTE has to migrate to that as we change towards a more IT infrastructure and IT technologies. It also brings in more rapid development. And so SMPTE has to change that. The other thing that we're trying to do is bring more of the creative and arts side of the business in with the technology and the engineering side, because to be successful in business, it really is the arts and crafts and engineering behind the society. And we're continuing along, and my plan is to continue along what we've done the last few years. As you know, we've merged with the Hollywood Professional Associations, and we're going to continue doing things along those lines to grow, you know, the relevance of what SMPTE is in the industry right now.
Sure. Matthew Goldman kicking off the second century of SMPTE. Matthew, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.
Really appreciate it. Have a great rest of the show. Jason Dackman from Hollywood, California. Stay tuned to sportsvideo.org for more live coverage from SMPTE.